Do the recent Deadpool X-Force and Thor Jane Foster buffs have you down? I understand, trust me, but I have a real strong feeling that recency bias and feelings are betraying you. And I've got the evidence to back it up. Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, I'm on this very long vacation. I should clarify, I am also working remotely during it. But I am able to keep up with the community a little bit, and I am definitely hearing on my Discord server, online chats, on Twitter, all of the places we gather, that the buff program has just been terrible. It's been bad. It's been the worst thing that has ever happened. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I was disappointed in the Thor, Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor buff. I am. I was a little disappointed in the Deadpool X-Force, and I had to kind of say, like, look, I don't know if that was necessarily the goal of the program, and if that's your favorite champion or someone you were really looking forward to, I do feel badly for you. One of my favorite characters, one I was so excited to come to the game, was America Chavez, and you can see this is my tier list rankings. I have her in the last tier, the lowest possible tier for, like, if you want to rank them up, they can do some things. I would love for her to get buffed, and if she was announced for a buff and the buff went out live and I really still had her in that same tier, I would be upset too. I would be bothered. And as a result, when these things happen, when feelings start to come into play and personal biases, I think it's important that we actually look at the facts. And here's the facts, and here's what we're going to do in this. Now, you're getting a sneak peek at the August tier list. Myself, the full rankings team, the MCoC Illuminati, and I have taken a look at this. And one of the things that we all thought about and we addressed was World Tier 1 Alliance War players. And although over the last 2 years, we have continued to get away from having that be Alliance War have a large priority or influence in these rankings, it's not something we have officially done or whatever. And we've decided we're going to frame this differently. You can see at the top of the page, the champions who will best help you efficiently clear content. War can be used as more of a proof of concept, or if we're just unsure of a category. But for the most part, we're going purely for who's going to help you clear content. This is story, long form, EOP, SOP, Grandmaster's Gauntlet, all of these story quests, special quests, all of them without regard to BGs or war. Those will be more like tiebreakers. And in that, I said, hey, look, let's put an emoji, that's what the little heart emoji is, for these champions who've gotten some love from Kabam. I think that's a nice way to put it. Champions who've been buffed either directly themselves, their kits have been updated, or a champion has come along since the release of the champion we're talking about that has significantly buffed them. And there are some examples of that, and we'll go through this. Now, I'm not going to spend time for a detailed analysis of each champion, but we're going to take a look at each class, the champions that have been buffed, and where are they placed? How good are these champions? So we can evaluate the buff. And then also keep in mind, I think the framing for the whole buff program was, I think really two main priorities. I looked to see if I could find a specific place, and I really couldn't find something on the forums, but various things was one, to help bring balance, right? If a class was really far behind, and if you've been playing this game long enough, there were some classes who were incredibly far behind. Mystic dominated for a very long time, and then we could debate about the other dominant classes, but tech and skill really needed some help. So did science. And then the other thing was just to pull away the pain from pulling them. There used to be a joke, Colossus used to be a meme, and then he got buffed and became, for a while, one of the best champions in the game. Jacob, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to hold on to that, because he was. For a while, he was one of the best champions in the game, and honestly, he's still really good. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. That's how we're framing this, and we can decide. And it's still ultimately gonna be up to you. I'm gonna give you my opinion. Has the buff program been good? And is recency bias with Thor, Jane Foster, and Deadpool X-Force and Yondu, 3 fan favorites, just kind of bothering us a little bit? All right, let's take a look. Like I said, we're gonna move this as quickly as I can at the Mystic tier. And you can see in the tier above all, this is just the best of the best of the best. We do have Diablo. He's amazing, he's excellent. There's a vocal community who really wants us all to agree with them that he is better than Doom. He is the best Mystic in the class. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, but you see the tier that I have him in. Also, he brought along a recoil-friendly champion, plus one who's doing poison damage and healing immensely to the Mystic class, which, to the best of my recollection, did not exist before, and I still don't think that combination exists. We have Hood, and I think people are really catching on how great he is. In fact, like I said, this is a rough draft for the August tier list. I will not be shocked if in August or September, he is in the tier above all. The Mystics were a strong class already when the buff program started, so it's not really shocking to me or against what I would have thought that there aren't a ton of high tier buffs in there. We have Ebony Maw, and I know it was a bit of a joke and it was Broccoli, right? And with Broccoli, we're like, if it's not Kitty Pryde, if it's not Hercules, Broccoli obviously was sandbagging this one. The thing is, Ebony Maw is actually quite good. I use him in BGs. I use him in questing content. I like him a lot. In fact, I know TJ, an extremely smart player, has taken him to rank 4, and I think that was a great rank. Mordo, the jury's still out on that buff. I think at worst, he is in this premium tier, meaning he's gonna help you clear content. And he's a defensive nightmare still and added a lot of offensive capabilities. Guillotine, she's one that hurts. I wanted her to be better. I do think she can do some things, but I did want her to be better. I can really identify with you all, empathize with you all easily, who are like, I wanted the mighty Thor to be better. And then we have Thor Jane Foster. That's the big disappointment. I think that's the one that's really gotten us, like, as a community thinking, why is the buff program so bad? But again, I think Mystic was probably considered the strongest class heading into the buff. It's arguable, but I think they were. They have 2 champions in the top 2 tiers who have been buffed and 6 overall who are usable. Considering that's only one class, that's a pretty nice start. Now let's move on to Mutant, who is obviously absurdly strong. Why do you keep buffing mutants, Kabam? If there's one real complaint, it's like, hey, you know, there's other classes out there that could use some buffs too, but I'm not gonna complain. I like the buffs as much as anyone else. Magneto, and I really think Magneto was one of the real issues with the buff program because he got us all thinking, they're all going to be amazing. And then in the next tier down, we have Colossus, who I already talked about in reference. Cable, not a direct buff, but the buff via the synergy, and it's just a synergy with Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is amazing, and it gets him all ramped up right away. I think that's important to include because, again, this is all working within the same framing of the game itself. White Magneto, big red older brother. Red Magneto is the showstopper, but White Magneto is the one getting the work done. You're taking him on quest. He's making your whole team better with that passive stun, and he himself is taking out fights. We're finally even seeing him in tier 1 war, which is where I think he really belongs in that tier. Bishop is incredible, amazing. I actually, he's my first rank 4 mutant. That's how much I like him and how good I think he is in a variety of game modes. Storm is incredible. OIC, you were right. She's finally been put up there. I've had some time to play her a little bit more and in depth. And this is just her alone. She's up there, Horseman, all that stuff. Whoo, watch out. All right, and then we're gonna just move on down. As we said, the mutant class is just so strong. Getting into those other 2 tiers. Gambit, you Horseman Gambit, he's amazing. Sabretooth, whew, I mean, with a really nice synergy, I think it's with Sasquatch, doing incredible things where we've been using him in Karina, kind of made that Karina's challenge almost fun. Deadpool X-Force, a little disappointed, but he can do some things. The bleed damage can be really good, so that is not a nothing. Let's put it that way. And then if we look at the mutants, who are considered to be incredibly strong, we have 6 champions in the top 2 tiers who have been buffed, either directly themselves and 1 who was through via synergy, leading to 9 overall champions in that class alone who are usable and show up on the tier list for, like, they can help you clear content. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Science. All right, as I referenced, Science needed some love, and they got it. And I think some of you who are relatively new to the game, you're like, Human Torch was buffed? He was already very good. And then they were like, let's make him better. And they did, and there he is. Mr. Fantastic also was already very good. And then they're like, he needs to just be a smidge better. And they did that, and they put them into, well, I put them into the tier above all, along with the MCoC Illuminati, but that's where they are in helping you clear content. Moving on, She-Hulk. This was, I think, the Women's Day buff quite a while ago, along with Spider-Gwen. She is excellent. We're seeing her still in tier 1 war. You're clearing content with her. I mean, if you have any questions, just go to MSD's channel, and you will see all the amazing things she can do. Red Hulk, still, some people think she is the best Science champion overall. Spider-Gwen is excellent. That's not Immortal, but there's regular Abomination. Synergize with the Red Guardian synergy is fantastic. There's actually thought, I'm like, should he even be higher? I don't know, but he would definitely be helping people clear tons of content. Miles Morales is handling unblockable for you, doing really nice damage too, right? Joe Fixit, I wanted to put out an Essentials video on Joe Fixit. I don't understand how to play him. I'll be honest, like, I'm always gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not getting it. I'm just button mashing and hitting my specials, and things are dying. And he's also poison immune, and he's healing a whole bunch while this is happening. I really think he could be higher than just the premium tier when these rankings go live. Yellow Jacket, not amazing, has some, I think, some fundamental flaw issues with his kit, but he's not bad. MCoC with a recent synergy, I can't remember exactly who it is, but it's on the synergies page on the tier list. Nerd is like, hey, he can really do things. Might need the high skill cap though to get that done. Luke Cage, some of you on the tier list rankings videos when they come out are like, hey dude, I think you're sleeping on Luke Cage. Not a terrible champion, can help you clear contact. So in the science tier, or in the science class, it's 3 champions in the top 2 tiers, but ends up being 12 champions overall who are helping you clear content. That is really good. Let's move on to tech. Tech needed love. Tech needed love badly. None in the highest tier. That's fine. That's Ghost, Nimrod, Warlock, Omega Sentinel, right? Okay, fine. But you go right to that next tier. Ultron is a recent buff. He was amazing. He was a little bit bugged. I think that's why I misspoke there. They fixed the bug. He's still fantastic. Nebula, oh my goodness gracious, right? Shutting down robots, triple immunities, amazing shock damage. Crazy that it was the 3rd thing that came to mind for me on Nebula was the amazing shock damage. Shows you how much she has improved. Mysterio, that synergy with Penny Parker, he is doing DLL, I think it's an exact quote, he's doing Abyss level damage and able to keep his utility too. It's a lot of fun. War Machine, a couple of the folks on the MCoC Illuminati were saying, potentially one of the best mutant killers out there, and mutants can be such a troublesome group. War Machine making all your techs better, or himself better too. Fantastic champion, great buff. Moving on, Hulkbuster. I kind of want to put Hulkbuster in a higher tier, but I got it. I got to respect the opinion of the group. I don't want to, that's not somewhere I'm going to go out on my own. He's fantastic. Punisher 29, especially if you synergize him with Captain America Infinity War. It's doing awesome things. The power control, man, keep in mind, that's not a power lock or all power. It's not like ability power. It's combat power that he's handling, but he does it phenomenally, and there's not a lot of champions in this game who can handle that, especially the way he can. Howard the Duck, it's a fine buff. I'm not a huge fan, but I know other people are. Iron Man Infinity War, really his biggest issue is fixed by the synergy with Stealth Spider-Man. Kang, check out rank 4 Kang stuff on Jason and Jabari channel, Jason and Jabari Gaming, excellent stuff, a lot of fun, was just a trophy champion, but with a simple synergy, is usable, can do some things for you. Yondu, again, I think this is one of those painful ones, really a fan favorite, someone we're loving from the comics and from MCU. Would love to have seen him go higher up, but when looked at in totality, I don't know, it's tough, right? Civil Warrior, someone who really should have been better, just didn't pan out the way it looked like it was going to on paper. Vulture, if you synergize him up, can be great. Crowdy Mike did some great videos on Vulture. Psycho Man, I think Psycho Man was a pretty big miss. I'm going to put that kind of similarly to Jane Foster, but the fact of the matter is, if you want to play Psycho Man, he can help you get some content done. This is giving Tech 4 champions in the top 2 tiers and 13 overall that you can use to clear content. All right, then let's look at the final 2 classes. As I referenced, skill needed some serious help when this happened, and they got it in a serious way. In fact, this is one of the things that got me first even thinking about this concept about the buff program was, got out a video recently on like replacements for Mole Man. If you were really relying on the way he was able to be played, and then, you know, they fixed him, who could similarly do that? I still think regular Mole Man, nerfed if you want to call him nerfed Mole Man, I think is still one of your best options. But I was like, wait a minute, I'm considering Kingpin, who is a buff champion. How bad could this buff program have been? Look at this, 2 champions in the top tier in Kingpin and Mole Man. I still think Mole Man deserves to be up there. Maybe he moves to top shelf, we'll let time tell us on that. Falcon and Crossbones, excellent buff champions, giving us 4 in the top 2 tiers. Black Panther, you know, if you have the skills of Na's a really valued member on my Discord server, always pumping out a lot of great information, extremely helpful, showing us the way, showing us so much on Black Panther. If you have his skills, he's an incredibly skilled player. Black Panther could arguably maybe be top shelf. I don't know, that's a tough one, but he's an excellent champion. Hawkeye, I know a lot of people love him. Masakre, DLL's been showing us the way with that too. Moving on, Karnak. I'm not a big recoil user, but I know a lot of people really enjoy Karnak and the things he can do. Thor Ragnarok. I mean, people were calling him Thor Ragnagod for a very, very long time. So I don't think we can knock that buff too much. Daredevil's Hell Kitchen. Wish it had been better, but that is where it is. He can do things. Cat Murdoch has showed us some of the content that he can clear. And then Winter Soldier, and then especially if you synergize him with Killmonger. In fact, he should be in a different tier. I'm thinking at least premium if you put that synergy together. Not bad, right? And the skill class set is leaving us with 4 champions in the top 2 tiers, looking at my notes here, and 13 overall in that class alone. Moving on to Cosmic, we have King Groot, Angela, and Venipul, all awesome buffs. King Groot, you get him behind a stick, it's almost impossible to kill him. It's really hard to do. I try, and sometimes I succeed, but it is difficult to do it. Gamora, Airwalker, and I should just reference Surfer. I didn't include it because it's not a synergy. Those are not the rules I set up. He was not directly buffed, nor was he got a synergy with a new champion that buffed him. So I'm not going to include him. But if you start including Odin buffs, he could really be, or Odin, the Odin pre-fight buffs that he can apply. Surfer would be in a much higher tier, at least in the top shelf. Hela, I mean, people have done incredible things with it. We see it. A lot of people will be like, dude, Hela should be in a much higher tier with that synergy. Annihilus has been buffed, and then on there is Nova. I think was a bit of a miss. I can understand, especially with these champions that have defensive capabilities, I can see that there's concern by making them too difficult and also too offensively powerful that when we go and fight them, they're just going to obliterate us, and that's not fun for anyone, so I can understand that. That's leaving Cosmic with 3 champions in the top 2 tiers and 9 overall. Not bad. That's trailing the other ones except for Mystic. Mystic had the fewest there, but Cosmic's just above them, trailing the rest, which leaves us with a grand total of 22 champions in the top 2 tiers overall. That is a lot that have been buffed either directly themselves, and I think it's like 2 who have been buffed via synergies, and 60 overall who, according to my rankings, with the help of the MCoC Illuminati, and I should mention, I'll talk about this more in the next tier list update, we've now created a whole channel for the really smart players on my Discord server to be like, hey, educate us on your champion, tell us. And I've had a lot of promotions in this one based on the information that they all are sharing. 60 overall champions can help you clear content, get things done. Maybe we just have a different way of looking at it. I am open to it. Let me know what you think, especially after watching all of this. And I don't know, it'll be clear from the comments who's watched it all and just doesn't agree, and who just saw the title and was like, this guy's an idiot, I'm gonna tell him he's an idiot. Let me know what you think, because to me, this looks like a massive, massive success. Very player friendly, brings balance to the game, and takes away that pain from pulling these champions. And every once in a while, we get someone who's just absolutely dominating content, not just helping us beat it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I am interested in genuine comments. I will read them and respond. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. To the recent Deadpool exports,
I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.